Hey everybody, MotoPoet59 here. I got this shirt a while back. I don't wear these shirts all that often, but I keep them in a drawer in here in my office actually for these videos. You find it offensive, I find it funny. That's why I'm happier than you. And it's very true. This is aimed at liberals because liberals are perpetually offended and unhappy. Liberals are always pissed off about something, and I've noticed that pretty much my whole adult life. I didn't pay attention to things like that when I was a kid, but in that time, it didn't used to be as bad where liberals were concerned back in the 80s, but through the 90s, the Clinton era, that's when it really started to become noticeable, and it just kept getting worse. And during the George W. Bush administration, that's when I noticed that I knew of no liberals who were happy. They just weren't. They thought, some of them thought they were, but when I would actually meet some of these people, because there was a deal back in the late 90s and early 2000s before the internet got to what it is today with with Facebook and everything. And we had a blog board from the Bakersfield, California, the local paper here in Bakersfield. And it was like a chat room kind of a thing. It wasn't on, what was it, AOL. It wasn't on AOL. It was its own deal through the Bakersfield, Californian. And we used to have meet and greets. That we thought, there's no reason for us to hate each other. Let's all go have some coffee together. We went to parks a couple of times and had barbecues. And those were generally pretty fun. They were pretty cool. But some of the people who I would debate or argue with, essentially, that's about the time I really realized that you could no longer debate with the liberal. They just wanted to argue. They didn't want to deal with facts. All they wanted to do was be the opinionated stooges that they were. And I'd go to these meet and greets and I realized that these people were unhappy. They were mad. And I've never been able to figure out exactly why it is that they're mad. I know that anger is a manifestation of fear. And these people are obviously afraid of everything around them because they're always mad. They're never happy. I love life. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter to me if I start getting tired of listening to the political crap. I just stop listening to it for a while. I haven't been paying much attention to the news or anything for the last couple of weeks. My mind has been otherwise occupied by real issues in my life, and I decided I wanted to enjoy myself, ride the dirt bike a little, ride the Harley a little, go do some things that were fun and get away from all the rigmarole. And as I said in my I'm Back video, I had some personal losses and I didn't need the extra burden. But it didn't make me unhappy. I wasn't unhappy during that time. I just didn't feel like dealing with anything other than the things I needed to deal with. And I really don't think that your average liberal, and certainly not your modern progressive, I don't think they have that capability. I don't think that they are capable of separating their life from their opinions of life. And if you can't do that, you're going to be unhappy. I don't even care if your opinions agree with mine. You can't live based on your opinions all the time. These people are angry. They're the ones out there destroying public property. They're the ones out there starting fights. They're the ones out there creating havoc, yelling and screaming, calling people names. They're the ones doing that. It's not the conservatives or the apolitical. It is the liberals. It's the progressives, and they do that because they're always mad. I remember years ago, gosh, this was I don't know, in the early 2000s, I guess. I went to during the whole Tea Party thing. I went to a Tea Party thing, and this was early in the Tea Party stuff. Went to a Tea Party deal here in Bakersfield in front of the courthouse down there. And I don't know, there were probably 100 people there maybe. There were no liberals there debating anyone, no one carrying signs or anything. But what they were doing was driving by, and this is on one of the busiest intersections in Bakersfield at Chester Avenue and Truxton Avenue, driving by shouting obscenities, driving by calling us names. A couple of people threw things out of their car windows towards us. They didn't throw them at us because they knew that that's what gets people in real trouble. If they had hit somebody got their license plate. But I didn't yell back at them, and neither did anybody else. We just laughed at them because that's all you can do at people like that. Getting angry with them, that's what they want. That's the response they want from you. They want to drag you into the same sewer that they live in constantly. If they can drag you in there for just a little while, they feel like they've accomplished something. And you're not going to win an argument with the liberal because they're not interested in dealing with facts. It's crazy. It's crazy the way these people think. And they're always mad and offended. They're always offended. It doesn't matter. And the thing is, and I've said this in videos, people have said it, there is nothing in the Constitution of the United States of America that guarantees anyone the right to not be offended. Today's liberals and progressives, I don't think they could ever actually be good friends with a conservative. I don't know that I could be a good friend to a modern liberal, certainly not a modern progressive. I really don't want those kind of people in my life because they're always unhappy. They're always angry. And I don't want that in my life. I don't need to be dragged down by that. I like to laugh and smile. I'm a joke teller. I love to make people laugh. And no one is safe from my humor. No group, no person, no issue, no nothing. I'll tell jokes about anything. And I don't set out to offend people, but if I tell a joke to a group of people and somebody in that group's offended, oh well, go get a life. You want to fight about it? Because if you don't, shut up, because I'm not interested in your opinion about it. As I said, I don't set out to offend people, but we all sometimes do. And the difference between a conservative and a liberal, at least in my corner of the world, is that we don't set out as conservatives. We don't set out to offend people, and I'm not happy when I do offend someone, even if they disagree with me, because that's not the way you get people to listen to you, by offending them. But it just seems like today's people on that side are offended by the truth, but they are offended so easily. It's almost impossible to have a rational conversation with a liberal or a progressive about almost anything, because you're going to say something that offends them, and they're going to need to go to a safe room, or they're going to want to call the police, and that's the way it is. They're not interested in engaging in a reasonable debate about those things, about any issues. They want their opinion forced down your throat, and if you deviate from that opinion, they become offended and unhappy. And I just can't imagine being that unhappy all the time. I can't imagine being angry all the time. I can't imagine being offended every time someone disagreed with me, but that's the way they are, and that's why they're so unhappy. It's why they're so angry. The difference between me and your average liberal and progressive is they don't have the capability of understanding their own fear, because they're so busy trying to spread it among other people, and they're overwhelmed with it from their party, from the Democrats. They, as I've said in almost every video I've made in the last year, the Democrats only have fear. That's the only tool they have. And their followers, their sheeple, are just inundated with it at all times, so they don't know anything else. And the conservative side, we're fortunate to have some of our people, some of our elected representatives, and some of our peers who are able to separate what some people are saying and say, hey, wait a minute, just because that guy's a conservative doesn't mean I agree with him. I'll get into that in another video. But we're able to do that. Most of us are. Some conservatives aren't. Some that are way out there on the right, way out there, they're they're just as bad as the people that are way out there on the left. And again, that's something we'll get into in another video. But what do you think about all that? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later.